Welcome everybody to 1 hour of miniature goodness. Today we're doing some work on my Tabletop World miniatures. This is the Coaching Inn by Tabletop World. It's all made in resin, absolutely beast of a miniature. But first let me say welcome to everybody. Michelle's in the house, Scorpler. We have Princess 27. I'm going to call you Princess 27 because I think it's... Fury Yan Princess 27. You tell me which one you prefer. And we got Umbro's in the house. How are you, Umbro? I hope you're well. And who else? Anyone else? Oh, and TY. I've been told I gotta call you Ty, not TY. So from now on, I'm gonna call you Ty. Welcome. Okay, let me explain what's been going on here. Now, if most of you know, last year or so, I have had an absolutely massive commission, and it was the whole range of Tabletop World, the whole range of Tabletop World miniatures. So I've been very busy sending these miniatures off to Canada, and I'm getting down to my last few buildings now. But this is the coaching house, and what I wanted to do was just to go over a couple of the details, the harder details, that might help you when you're doing your houses. For example, when Michelle does her Baba Yaga's hut, she might get some hints and tips on the windows and certain items like that. So I thought this would be very helpful for you guys who are thinking of painting some buildings or terrain for your games. Now, we got little Mr. Force. I can't say his name. I can't say his name. Somebody tell me what his name is. Force. Claire knows exactly what I'm thinking. Forescale. So Forescale. That's his. I nearly swore then. Right, you're going over there. Go away. For scale. Okay. Let me show you the building first. As you can see, I have added all the prime coats. So we got all the reds, we got the grey on the brickwork, with some beautiful browns for all the woodwork, and of course all the interior has been done as well. So this all comes apart, and we've got a lovely inside here. Now what I've done inside is I've given all the walls a cream wash. And I've gone over it with a black ink wash. Now what I do to get this lovely type of mould effect is I use a tissue and I dab the tissue over the walls while the black ink wash is still wet. And what happens then, it gives you like a stippling effect on the wall, but it also looks like manky mould. You know, like in the old buildings, you got that manky, it's kind of clear in the middle, and then towards the bottom and around the side of the walls you've got that nice dark, gooey, mouldy look. And okay, now what I've also done, I'll put this back together again, is I've added white to all the windows. They are just Dragon White from MSP. Now I've given 2 coats to each of these windows, so it doesn't matter if you make a little bit of a mess here, because this is where we're going to add our ink wash first. So it's important you get as bright as possible for your windows, because what I'm going for is it's more of a nighttime theme where you've got a light on inside the house. So if you're ever doing a building where you've got a light that's coming out from the house, you want to make your windows as bright as possible to make your ink wash really stand out bright. And on the inside, I haven't done it yet on these ones, but on the inside of the windows, you want to paint them black. The inside will always be black if you're looking out into the darkness, but on the outside you're going to have that lovely yellow brightness coming through the window from the candles or the fireplace or whatever is in your inn. Yeah, I do get the giggles now and again, especially when I can't speak. I mean, Mr. Force Scale has just been chucked across the room. Okay, also today I am trying out these brand new brushes. These are the new dry brushes by Army Painter, and they're real fluffy. They're like extra soft, super soft, really nice fluffy dry brushes. These are the Masterclass dry brushes. Now I think if your partner has that blushy makeup-y stuff that they use, I've seen them use things like this. I mean, I've seen Claire use stuff like this. I am sure you could easily pinch your partner's fluffy brush and use it for dry brushing. Hi Eric, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in ages, Eric. I hope you're all well. You must be really busy towards Christmas. So I'm going to be trying out these new little Masterclass brushes in a sec, but the first thing I want to do now is we'll get that ink wash onto the white areas, and hopefully that will dry, and then we can go and do all the lead work around the windows. So what I need to do is make some room. I'll get rid of this little wheel. And for the windows, I am going with the Eden Yellow. This is a contrast paint by Games Workshop, and it is absolutely amazing because what happens, it kind of adds your own shade. So what you do with this one is you put it around the side of the windows and then move it into the middle of the windows, and that'll give you that darker, lovely orange going around the window, and then in the middle it'll be lighter, so it gives you that beautiful effect. Now I'm going to show you, of course. So what you need to do this is you'll need some of these little cotton buds. I like to use these little things, or earbuds. I know you stick them in your ears, whatever you want to do with them. So a little packet of these baby buds, and I use them to remove any ink wash. So let's see if we can get to our little windows. Let's see if we can make some more room. Put that down there. I'm going to move you out the way. You'll come back in a minute. Okay, for adding my ink wash, I am just using a Regiment brush by Army Painter. Now I need to get this in focus so you can actually see it better. Now let's see if I can get this closer. Move my little brushes over to the other side. That's just so you can see what I'm doing. And let's see if we can get some better focus. Oh, Reaper Miniatures is raiding of a party of 89. That's always nice to make me nervous. Okay, so we're getting some focus in. And what we're going to do is we're going to just add this ink wash around the outsides of all the window pane, and this ink wash will leave a lovely effect for the... Thank you for following. So what we're doing is just quickly adding this ink wash, and this will make it look like there's a light on the inside of the building. You'll have to excuse me, Reaper fans. I had Mr. Forescale earlier and I couldn't say his name, so he got launched across the room and he's actually fallen. He's actually fallen in my grey paint. Unbelievable. Oh, he's hating me. He's hating me. Yes, Princess 27. Some of these ink washes are so amazing. They just save you so much work. Just by adding this ink wash, you've got an instant effect for your work. It really does look nice. Now what you need to do now is we shall take away a little bit of the ink wash from the center, because what's going to happen is I'm going around with the brown again, and I want the center of these panes to be a little bit lighter. So what we do, I just quickly remove a little bit of the ink wash in the middle, leaving it more orange. Thank you for following Dragon Pink. Leaving a little bit more orange around the outside, and then once I've painted the brown and around the window and gone over all these little lead work, it absolutely looks fantastic. But what we're doing is just taking a little bit away, and because I've added that white undercoat, that really brings out all those colors, really brings it out nice and bright. So what we're going to do is just go over the rest of these windows nice and quick, and it will be awesome. Once I've done these windows, we'll let the ink wash dry. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing. It's quite difficult. It's quite a large miniature, this one. And like I say, Michelle, if you're doing Baba Yaga's hut, this will work perfect for the windows, using this ink wash. There we are. Very sorry if it's not in camera correctly. It's not easy trying to do this because it's quite a large scale miniature, and it's not in the easiest of shapes. So I'm just quickly adding that there. Thank you for following. The main thing is to make sure you've got a lovely bright undercoat, and by having that white underneath, that is really pushing the ink wash and making it stand out a lot brighter. But just that by adding this ink wash, it really adds so much more to the miniature. I need to have octopus arms sometimes when I'm painting. A contortionist, I think the word is. So once again, we've added that ink wash there, and again I'm going to just take away a little bit of the middle, and that will give a nice effect, and it's perfect because you'll have that light effect underneath the lead work once you've added that on top, and it just shows through really nicely. So it's just in the center of each pane really. It's just to take away a little bit more of the ink wash and leave it a little bit lighter because you've got that white behind. There we are. And again, once we've added all that lead work, it absolutely looks stunning. I had a jigsaw puzzle back in the I think it was 70s of Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man, and I used to make it up, I think, nearly every weekend as a kid. And I was also crazy on the Hulk. I used to love the Hulk. The old Hulk though, you know, with that bodybuilder. Can't remember his name now. Lou Ferrigno, that's it, Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk. Now all the paints I've used on this miniature, apart from this ink wash, are from Reaper Miniatures. They're all MSP paints, but it's just this one ink wash I'm using, which is your Games Workshop paint. It's a contrast paint. Now my favourite paints are, of course, my MSP paints, but they this contrast paint is absolutely amazing, so I do recommend it 110% to anybody who wants to have a fantastic looking miniature. It also works really, really well for flames, fire. I'm going to be doing a Ghost Rider diorama in a few weeks' time, using the motorbike from Reaper Miniatures, and I'm going to make a conversion and I'm going to make it into Ghost Rider, and I think that's going to be absolutely awesome. What I'll do, as soon as I've got all these little window panes with their ink wash in, I will start doing some dry brushing on all the stonework. Again, this is just your first basic highlighting to the miniature, but it makes such a difference just adding these little windows. And it doesn't take long. I mean, this whole miniature will be painted within a day, and that for me is great. Okay, so slowly adding all this ink wash. I'm really just wanting to show you simple little ways to help highlight your miniatures. I am hoping Reaper Miniatures are going to hopefully in the next Kickstarter or the Kickstarter after, and keeping my fingers crossed, I've kind of put petitions out for it, and that is, we want a village. We need a tavern from Reaper Miniatures. We can have all sorts of things. You go townhouses, blacksmith, and I think if Reaper Miniatures are listening to this, then that's what they need to do. It will be amazing. They've proved they can make the decent houses with the Baba Yaga's hut. Of course, if we want a village made with bones, or bones black, they would have to be buildings that we can go inside the houses for our D&D games, or Pathfinder games, of course. So the tavern would have to have an interior. Okay, so that's some of the windows done there. Now what I'll do is, I won't do any more of the windows because it'll be a very boring show if I just painted all the windows in. So what I'll do is I'll let them dry, and hopefully before the hour's up I'll be able to come back and we'll be able to do that lead work together. So what I want to show you now is, we'll go back to the base and we'll start just adding some highlights to the actual brickwork. Now, like I say, I've got these brand new brushes. From Army Painter. They're their new masterclass dry brushes, and like I say, they look like they're straight from a makeup kit. So, like I say, if you've got your hands on a makeup kit, I reckon you could probably easily use these, use them for dry brushing as well. I'm not used to, I've never tried these round type ones, so it's going to be a bit of fun. I mean, dry brushing is my favourite thing anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to get some kitchen towel, and we're just going to put that there, see if we can get a better look, see what's going on. Thank you for following, Estrogene. Now, for adding your first highlight, let me see if I can get this in focus again. There we go. For adding first highlight to simple bricks, this is just grey. What I've done is I've given it a black ink wash all over the stonework, and it looks fantastic already, just like it is. But what we want to do is we just want to edge the stonework. So using my MSP paints, I am going for skeleton bone. Now skeleton bone isn't white, it's more of a cream colour, so it's not going to be super contrast on the bricks. It'll just give a slight highlight, and if we need more we can just dry brush more on top. It's very, very simple. So I'll just add in some to my palette there. And I think we'll try it with the small brush first, just to make sure I don't go blobbing tons of. And we're just going to add a tiny bit onto our brush. We're going to take that paint off, and we'll see how this works. Now it's supposed to be super fluffy for dry brushing, so we'll see. Yes. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like. Yes. Yes, that's nice. That works well. Yes, so these little brushes, the masterclass brushes, they are absolutely super soft. Oh yes, they really are doing the job lovely. So I'm just going over the edges of the stonework. I hope you can all see that okay. Let me see. Yes, it is. It's loads of fun. It just makes everything come alive, Michelle, when you start bringing out the stonework. And we're just going over very, very lightly with this brush. I'm just working our way around the stone, and it's just picking out all the areas and giving it a light effect. And it pushes out the stone and then leaves a shade behind. And what we can do, we can actually go over the woodwork as well, very lightly. Over the tops of the wood, and that'll start bringing out the wood and making it look old. Only a very, very light brush going over the woodwork, very, very gently. But what's happening is that's just bringing out the wood and picking out a little bit more of the detail, but more heavily on the corners. What we want is the edges. We want the edges to pop. Because they're your worn areas. So when we get to the corners and the bottom of the stonework here, we just add in a heavier brush. Get some more paint, take it off on our tissue, and we just work our way around. I mean, I really like that already. Okay, let's get a nice grip, and again take a bit more off. Now the key to dry brushing is pressure. Too much pressure and it's going to get too much on too fast. So start off very, very lightly, and then see how much paint is going onto the miniature from the dry brush, and then you can add more pressure to the brush strokes, and that will give you more paint onto the miniature. So I'm just going over here, just adding a little bit to that wood there. And just to the beams, just a very, very light brush to the beams. This is just picking out a little bit of the detail and just making that wood look used and old. It's been blown in the wind and the rain's been hard against it, and it's starting to look used, falling apart. Everybody's raiding their makeup kits now. I'm using the makeup kit. These are, honestly, these are from the makeup kits that the ladies use for their fluffy. I don't know the names. You're probably talking about it in chat, but the ladies use them to put that stuff on their face, blusher or whatever. I'm sure Claire will know what I'm talking about. Well, and what I'm trying to say is you could probably pick these up a lot cheaper from your local makeup shop. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't buy makeup myself, so I don't know how much it all costs. Dry brushing is my favourite form of painting. When I dry brushing, I can do a whole miniature just by dry brushing that miniature. As you know, you get your primer coat on, but I can actually finish the miniature just by dry brushing to a tabletop standard, and I absolutely love dry brushing. I also have a passion for painting rocks and stones, which sounds a little bit geeky, I suppose, and like really you like painting fossils, but there's one of the things I've always been good at is painting rocks. It's crazy, but some things you're good at, some things you're bad at. I've always found that I've always been able to paint rocks to quite a nice standard. Other things I'm useless at. So I'm just going around all the edges, and again, as you can see on these corners here, this is where we start dry brushing the heaviest. So what we just want a nice worn look to these rocks. Same on the bottom here. Now, I will say, I will promote Mighty Lancer Games. I bought all my paintbrushes from Mighty Lancer Games. If you ever become my patron, or you are my patron, you do get 10% off all their products. That's in the UK, of course. It's not the USA, it is for the UK. But 10% off is quite a big thing. So you can get all these items a little bit cheaper by becoming a patron. My patronage, you can join my patron for as little as $1. So you're saving yourself money if you want to buy anything from Mighty Lancer Games already. So we just keep on going around, and we just go round in circles, keep on going around, and we just see little areas, just little bits of wood. We just pick them out a little bit more, tiny little light dry brushes on the tips of the wood, going around the door. Absolutely beautiful. And before you know it, the whole miniature just pops, and it's like, wow. And it's minimal effort. Seriously, it's minimal effort. All you're doing is you're adding a little bit of splintered bone or bleached bone to the stonework, and it just makes everything pop that little bit more. Thank you. Getting me little cheers. And just by going over the woodwork again, we are picking out the wood. Now, if you're not happy with how the wood is looking, what you can do is you can go back over that wood with a light brown ink wash. That will tone down the dry brushing. So, because dry brushing can be a little bit chalky, for stonework it looks perfect. But on the wood, if you look here, I'm going along this wood. What I'll probably do, just to tone that down a little bit more, is I'll go over the wood once more with a light brown ink wash, and that will blend that highlight I've just done into that wood and make it look more used. And it's a fantastic way to do things. Okay, so we need to go around a couple more times, and then we can move on to the next part. So we're just, like I say, again going over the highest areas. We're just building up. We're just building up the stonework, making it a little bit brighter on each pass. Now I'm doing this a lot slower for you all at home. Normally I would whip around this really fast, but I just want to show you what I do, what you can do at home. I mean, everybody that's watching this show can do what I'm doing now. It's a very simple way to paint, but it really works well and is very effective once it's finished. What I'll do anyway is, once I've totally finished this building, I will make a little 360 video and I'll upload it onto YouTube so you can actually see the finished building. But this is a nice way for you to pick up some like hints and tips on what I do to do certain parts of the miniature. Okay, now I want to show you something else that I do to these miniatures. This is the ground floor. Now let me give this a wash. When I wash my dry brushes, by the way, what I do is I put them into clean water and I actually dry brush my tissue until all the paint is gone. That way you're guaranteed you've got no more paint on your brush. If you just, with the dry brushing brushes, you've got to really make sure that all that paint has been removed totally, because what will happen is the paint will, because it's such a thick, the paint goes into the middle of the stem, so it's even more important to try and get these ones clean, because the paint has more access inside, which means that it will spread and go star-shaped and it will be useless within a day. So you have to really make sure you give these a really good clean after each use. I mean, that's nice and fluffy again. Fluffy! Okay, so the next part. Now this is what makes the miniature, and a lot of people forget to do this to their buildings, and that is to add some dry brushing to the ground effects. And what I mean by that is, if you look at any castles, if you look at any buildings, if you look at any wall on an old building, you'll have green mold and dirt going along the bottom of the building, you know, and it go all the way around. You can have it going up the wood. So what we do is we just dry brush some green going around the bottom, and yes, that's it, Michelle, and it just adds that little bit extra. It's a super simple thing to do, but so many people forget to do it. So it's really enhances your terrain builds. So what we're doing, this is Meadow Green by MSP, by Reaper Miniatures. Again, we are going for that nice small little fluffy dry brush. And what we'll do is start on the side. And what we're doing is, again, taking the paint off of my tissue. And this time we're going right down into the corner and we're just pushing it on. And this just gives the bottom a beautiful effect going around the miniature. What you can do is on the wood, go a little bit higher on the wood, because the mould loves wood, and it will follow that wood up on the corners there, just at the bottom. There we go. So we're just adding a lovely little bit of green around all the bottom of that miniature, and it really instantly makes it look old. And it's such a simple thing to do. All we're doing is pushing on the green, and it just adds years to the mini. It really does. It just looks awesome. I absolutely love it. we're just a bit like stippling it on really. We're just pushing that brush and getting some green going around the bottom of the miniature. And I do this to all my old buildings because it just looks so cool. No goblin green? Of course I've got goblin green. Of course I've got goblin green. I'm saving the goblin green for my goblins. Now we can even add a little bit to the tiny bottom to the door there. We just do a tiny bit of dry brush into the bottom of the door, bringing it up a little bit in the middle. There you go. Now on the corners, like in here where you got a recessed corner, you can actually go higher up with that green, because it's almost like where things would get trapped. It's like a wind tunnel goes in there. So what I do is I'll go higher on recesses of buildings like that. So we go a bit higher with the green. And again in this corner here we'll go a little bit higher up with the green. And we just work our way around really quick and easy. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, dum, okay, so there we are, nearly done for the green. A little bit on the door there, bottom of the door. Okay, so that's a very simple way of adding a little bit of vegetation, moss to the bottom of your miniature. I mean, all this just adds to the flavour once the whole miniature is together. It's absolutely stunning. Actually, there's a little courtyard here. See, there's a little courtyard. What we can do before we finish that piece, I'm going to just add a little bit to the edges of that courtyard, just at the bottom there, right at the bottom. So some mould going up at the walls a little bit, and the same on the other side. There we are. You only need a little bit, but it just adds. And again, as you can see with this paintwork I've done inside, that is just bleached linen from MSP, bleached linen on the walls there. Then I've covered that in black ink wash. Now, to get the nice worn mouldy look, all we do is we use a tissue, we place the tissue over the ink wash while it's wet, take the tissue away, replace it, take it away, and what happens, you get a nice like stippling effect going all the way around that wall part, which makes the interior look mouldy. But it looks like those old-fashioned walls that you'd get in those old buildings. So that's a fantastic way to just quickly do the interior of your buildings and make them look old. Okay, so let's see if our ink wash is dried, and I can hopefully show you one window before we finish the stream tonight. Well, I hope you're all having fun. Thank you to the Reaper guys for sticking around so long, and thank you to the Reaper to have actually followed me. I know it's not a Reaper miniature tonight, and I do apologise, but I am using the Reaper paints. That's why I've kept it for Reaper miniatures, because I'm using the paints. And I always use I can't say them again, can I? I always use Sir 4 scale for my size references. So Reaper is an absolutely huge thing for me. Most people will know that. But what it is, on my Tuesday show, if you tune into my Tuesday shows, I try to do miniatures from all sorts of companies, Lord of the Rings, anything that really takes my fancy. Thursdays, if you're a Reaper fan like I am, Thursdays is my dedicated Reaper Miniatures show. I've been painting my Reaper Miniatures chess set for the last few shows, and that is coming on absolutely fantastic. Okay, that's about dry. Let's see if we can get one of these windows done. Again, I'll quickly show you what the building looks like while it's together. It's coming on very nicely. This is your Coaching In. The Coaching In by Tabletop World. Now, this is going to set you back well over £100. It's not cheap. But it is full resin, of course. And I've been working on this for a year. Not this particular model. I've been painting every single house in this series, and they're going off to Canada. Michelle's like, "What is that for me?" But no, it's been a long haul doing these. They're very time consuming, but they do look beautiful once they're done. Personally, I cannot afford to buy these houses, so I've really been lucky. I've been able to paint them for somebody. So you know, it's been nice that I can do that. Okay, let's see if we can. These windows will be perfect. I'll see if I can get these little windows done. Let's see if I can get that in shot there. As you can see, that's dried nicely. You've got a lovely effect behind. Now, for the windows, I will be using a dark brown. Now, MSP do a fantastic wood stain brown. I bought these from the UK website this week, specifically for this miniature. And it's a beautiful colour, and also really good for when we get our Reaper ships next year. This wood stain will be, I'll need about maybe 20 of these bottles, I think. I got 8 of the Reaper Miniatures ships on order. Going to be busy next year, very, very busy next year. Okay then, so again, back onto the palette. I'm just adding this paint, and what we're going for now is I am again using, this is a Kolinsky Masterclass brush by Army Painter. It's not an expensive brush. I don't go for expensive brushes for my miniature painting. I normally use Army Painter. I got Reaper miniature brushes and Vallejo brushes, but Army Painter is the brush I go for because I got quite thick hands. It's got a very nice stem to hold your brush, and I think this brush is about £5 for this brush, and that's a really good price for this brush. So let's see if I can get this in focus, and I can show you what I am going to do. It's very, very simple. I'm just going to go over all those little lead work on the window. Let's see if I can get a focus. I'm trying to drink coffee at the same time as focus. Let's see if I can get a good focus. There we are. That'll do. That will do. I'll drink some coffee. And that's absolutely frozen coffee. It's disgusting. Thank you very much. Okie dokie then. So, just using the tip of my brush. I am using both my hands to support myself for painting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start in the middle and work down the posts. And very, very simple. Hello, Renegade Shank. I thought you subscribed a week ago. Oh, don't make me laugh when I'm doing this. Okay. So, very simply, we're just going across. And I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm banging it. Trying to keep this in focus so you can all see what I'm doing. Now, when you're painting, try to always use both your hands. One hand to steady yourself, and the other hand, of course, to paint with. Now, what I do with lead work is I'll start at the top and I'll do one piece at a time, and I'll keep on following the one piece down. You can't see it. Excuse me for the nasty focus. Let's see if I can get that better. There we are. A bit closer. It's not easy to get in focus here. There we are. So I'm just going across each of the areas. My camera is on an angle, so I'm kind of leaning over to do this for you guys. But it's fine, I'll get it done. If I can just get one of these done to show you what it looks like when it's finished, and you'll get the idea. If I make a mistake, I'll just do it again, so it's no, I'm not worried. And that's the key with miniature painting. If you make a mistake, even if it's for a commission, it doesn't matter, because you can go back over it again. These things happen. You can't be perfect at every single thing you do. The main thing is to not stress about it. Now, it may look a bit iffy like this, but once I've added the lines going the other way, it all comes together. Bit like icing a cake, really. Okay, so let me take too much paint on there. Don't overload your brush. That's not a good idea if you are doing fine line work. Now we can just go over the areas going the other way, and all of a sudden all those little crisscrosses are coming together and it looks quite nice. What's happening as well is you're tidying up that area, because what will happen is I'll go around the frame as well with this brown, and it will all blend the whole brown in. It's a very quick process. You don't have to spend hours and hours and hours on one window. And now we just go around the frame. With the frame, we go right up to the window pane. So we've got a nice dark line going around. Is it in focus for everybody? Can everybody see this okay? Please let me know if you can't see what I'm doing, and I apologise if it's a little bit iffy. It's out of focus, is it? Yeah. It's out of focus. Okay, sorry. Let me. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. Let me see if I can get this in focus. I don't want it. There we go. Is that better? I do apologise. I didn't. It's what I'm using, a tiny little screen on my PC here, so it gets very difficult to actually see what the hell's going on. It doesn't help that it's such an awkward shape to show you. Oh. So there's the general idea. I'll try and do the next one. Like I say, it's very difficult doing this live on show when I know you're watching. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So we should get this last one finished here, and then we shall call it a night. And I hope we've all learned a tiny little bit, if anything, or you've just enjoyed watching me paint. But what I will do a video of the finished tavern. If you want to see any more Tabletop World miniatures, on my YouTube channel I have painted most of the houses from Tabletop World. So there is a channel there where I've put all the YouTube videos up of all the houses I have painted so far. Tabletop World are beautiful miniatures. Oh, bollocks. Oops, did I swear then? I didn't swear, did I? We can edit that bit. I missed the table and just poked the window. Okay. I didn't swear. Honest, I didn't. I said coconuts. That's what I said. How am I supposed to paint when I'm laughing, eh? How am I supposed to paint when I'm laughing? Okie dokie, almost there, almost there. Having that beautiful ink wash underneath really brings out all the beauty of these windows. Unfortunately, I haven't done a fantastic job on these because I've been trying to paint on a silly angle. So I will be going over these again once I've finished the stream, because I am not happy with them, but I will be happy with them. I don't give up on things, but there we are, you get the gist. As you can see, I slipped and poked the window there, so that doesn't help, but absolutely awesome because you've got that orange and yellow going around the window and it's lighter in the middle. It looks like there's like a candle or a light behind that windowsill. So that's a very simple way to do all your windows. Now, Tabletop World, as you can see, they have a lot of windows and they've all got these lead work. So I don't recommend these miniatures to a beginner. Even I find them difficult to paint. So as a beginner, I would practice on an easier miniatures before you build yourself up. Mainly because you're also spending 100, 200, some of them are £300 for these houses. So you're talking a lot of money. So if you are a beginner, start on some nice Reaper Bones miniatures and work your way up. And if you want to splash out on these beautiful miniatures, then have a blast. But make sure you're ready to make mistakes, because I make mistakes. I've made mistakes now. I'm not ashamed to admit it. We all make mistakes. It's learning by your mistakes and making and repairing the damage if you do make mistakes. But they are very, very expensive miniatures. So that's about all I can show you for this lovely little stream. I want to say thank you to everybody that stayed with me today from Reaper, and thank you to everybody who's joined and followed. It's been a fantastic little stream. I hope you've enjoyed what I've done today. So if you've got any questions now, ask me some questions, and I'll just quickly again show you what we've done on the house. So again, very simple. We've added that lovely green to the bottom there, and we've added some nice dry brushing to the stonework, and we've painted in these windows. Now all the windows will be the same all the way around the house, so you'll have lights everywhere. Okay then. Any questions? Because I'll say good night now. When can I move? Well, thank you everybody for popping in. It's been a fantastic talking to you all, and I shall say goodnight to everyone. Thank you, Dragon Pink. My next stream will be on Thursday, and we are back with Reaper miniatures. Now, I'm not sure if I'll be doing the chess set this week. I think I'll do something fresh. I got a couple of new dragons to paint. So Thursday, 7 o'clock on UK time, and we'll be back doing some fantastic Reaper miniatures. So love to everybody, and I'll see you soon. Night night.